So what is going on with us if we are hardwired for generosity, but we have been trained for greed? How do we then remember what we are hardwired for? How do we remember what our natural tendencies are? What will have to happen for us to move away from an unnatural tendency, right? That is contracting, to a natural tendency for us to be generous, for us to want to share, for us to want to be kind, right? When a child is developing their sense of self, their individual sense of self, they generally don't like sharing, right? Because they are learning about ownership. They're still learning. Now, at that time, they are still very much in their reptilian brain. So our animal instinct at that time is still quite high, right? And that's where gradually, when they step into their own humanity, they will want to share. When they realize, oh, it's not all about me, because they feel safe, we then come into our society. We come into not just the animal now, we are the human, right? That warmth, right? And you want to become friends, you have friend circles, right? And you want to share, you want to take presents for each other, right? It's very, very natural for us to want to have that. And then you might have one of your parents saying to you, oh, so you gave them this. What did they give you back in return? Did they give you anything back? What does the dad do? What does the mom do? Oh, does she only do that? And then, someone might say, oh, what does the dad? And you say, oh, no, the dad doesn't work, or the dad is a photographer. What, really? No. I'm an engineer. Maybe you need to change your company. Maybe you need to change your friend circle to one that's going to take you places. And now you think as a parent, right, that I am doing what's best for my child. I'm educating them, right, to keep the company of those that we're going to go together, and we're going to all go to Harvard and Yale and all the other things and that happens, right? So segregation, learning to distinguish between each other and say, no, this one is like this one is like, we're learning to measure each other up, right? Now, because we have learned that there is a measure, most of us would have lost that natural tendency of giving, right? Natural tendency of giving. I remember, again, to take you to an example from my own past, is when I was in school, right? Now, because I was naturally inclined towards giving, I remember my dad, he once gave me 500 shillings, which was such a big amount. At that time, it was like you've just received 100 pounds, like it's quite a lot for a kid. And I thought, brilliant, I am going to take all my friends out for lunch today, and not just take them for lunch, but go to the gift shop next door and pick us all watches. And I remember so clearly calculating in my head how much it'll all cost to make sure that I can maximize, and get everything that I want in that. And we got that and more and more. And I always thought and felt that that was the most natural thing for me to do, was never to hold on to anything. It was always to share, whether it was with our neighbors or whether it was with anyone. That was just a very natural thing. And yes, I did get told off about it a few times, and I was told, oh, you just went and squandered away your pocket money, or I would always get that. But you see, the thing is, now when that in us doesn't get suppressed, and you don't buy into a system, or you do buy into the system, but then you're able to do a full circle and come out of it and back to nature. Now, because we are a complex organism, we are so complex, that means we are self-organizing, that means we are self healing. There will always be a way back into that sense of whole, right? Now, in that sense of whole, where I am complete, I am everything, I have everything, right, is also that sense of infinite connection to providence, infinite connection to the belief and trust in providence and knowing I am abundant, right? It is our nature that I am abundant, right? And in that abundance, because you are overflowing, right, you never think about currency. You never think, do I have enough money or do I have that? No, your first is, right, this is what I want to do. So Diwali is coming or this is coming, and so I want to do da 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 da, and everything will fit in and you'll be able to do that because your trust in abundance as your nature is higher than your belief in a false system, right? A false conditioning, a false pattern. All of this falsity is what we call our karma, cause and action, right? It's conditioned existence. And I'm putting it very simply. Of course, we know that it's more complex, but quite simply, karma is what takes us away from our essence, right? And unless and until we're able to work out that and get off that wheel of karma, right, into and onto the path of dharma, where you are serving, you want to be of service, you want to give, you want to be generous, because that's what is naturally us. Coming back to spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening, a wake-up call, right, is one way of returning home, returning to what's natural, returning to who we are at our core, even as manifest beings, right? In that walk back, now this is where you'll have healers, spiritual teachers, light workers, starseeds, whatever it is that you have found as that which is defining you at the moment, right? But nevertheless, you're waking up. Now, this is when you'll want to know, but how do I access this abundance that I know that I am? And this is where, with the awakening, the more that you shed all those false beliefs, they go away, that there's scarcity, it goes away, right? Right now, for example, with the cost of living crisis in the entire world, more or less, right? This is when, right, you know that is a perfect opportunity to show that it's not money that's going to give you that abundance. How many people are going off grid? So living off grid, right? Finding other sources, finding other ways, right? And when you realize through your awakening that our abundance is not limited to consumerism, our abundance is not related to how much material wealth we accumulate, right? But our expression of life lived in joy. That, friends, is the essence of our abundance, right? A child can grow happily in a poor home or not a poor home. It's not about how many toys they have, right? It's all about the love we share, that we are, that will give them the attuning into abundance. Stay tuned for more.